Bad boy Antonio done pissed off the FBA brothers, man. Shit. Hey, check this out. The FBA. Oh, hold on. Let me turn on my zoomer. The FBA to alt-right pipeline. I saw this. I was like, this is going to be a problem. I saw this. I was like, this is going to be a problem right here. They going to come for my boy for this one. Nigga, yo, check this out, man. 156 comments with only 3,600 views. Niggas is mad, bro. I ain't even watched the video yet, gang. Let me just look at some of these comments, though. I'm already seeing that this is going to be a problem. Oh, shit. Bro, FBA is a lineage, not a movement or a group. Where your family from? Yeah. That's when you know that the FBA niggas is on your... They got a problem, bro. They start asking you where you from, man. Shit. We got one bro right here. Young brother, I'm with you nearly 100% of the time, but you obviously don't have interactions with these people. I grew up with Haitians in South Florida, and honestly, they can be some of the worst racist towards us, or the most racist towards us. These individuals have their own churches where if you're not Haitian, you're not welcome. In contrast, Black American churches are inclusive and welcome to everyone. How can FBA be a pipeline to white supremacy when the main talking point is reparations for descendants of freedmen? People will find a way to hate something. The main reason Black Americans are delineated now is because other Black groups come over here and disrespect us. Yeah, let's see what Antonio actually said, man. But I'm already seeing just off of the comments, niggas ain't liking this one. Let's see.
Foundational Black Americans, aka FBAs. Now, I want to say this first. On paper, FBA is valid. A lot of the African Americans living in the United States want to just be Black Americans. The same way that Jamaicans can be known as Jamaicans and Haitians can be known as Haitians, many Black people in America want to stand alone. And that's cool. I understand that. Also, I do see a lot of the hate that come from other Black people, such as some Africans, some Jamaicans, some Haitians. And y'all already know we tolerate no Black American slander over here. And what you notice is that all of the insults coming from the other groups of Black people in the diaspora are just white supremacist talking points. So they may say things like, you know, Black Americans, we're violent, we're aggressive, we're this or that. And whole time they never really had contact with us.
Okay, so far, I ain't see none to take issue with so far. Foundational Black Americans, this is just talking about Black people who are the descendants of Black American slaves, people who were enslaved in North America. That's all it means. If you are the descendant of someone who was enslaved in North America, you are FBA, a foundational Black American. All other Black people, by definition, are immigrants. This is what they mean when they say it's not a movement. To say that being like FBA is a movement is like saying being Jamaican is a movement. You feel me? It's like saying being, you know, Nigerian is a movement. It's just saying, no, I'm a Black American.
Okay, it's just propaganda. Now, whether you want to admit it or not, though, the FBA movement is a alt-right pipeline. This is the thing, y'all. These FBAs are pretty much white supremacists in Black American skin.
See, when you Africans get to telling us Black Americans that we look like y'all, that shit really do be funny to me. Because I really do believe that y'all think that other Americans can't tell the difference between us and y'all. And then y'all even with...
I'm not gonna lie, this nigga look African.
I ain't gonna lie, gang. I was thinking the same thing, bro. I was like, bro, I ain't even gonna lie to you, gang. You look African, bro. Like, you don't even look, or Caribbean, you know what I'm saying? Like, he don't even look like, got that Black American look to him. I'll be real with you. But okay.
Nothing wrong with looking African.
Usually being called, you look African is a definite flex. The whole world know that. Boy, ain't no flex being called African. What person you know that gets happy when they be called an African? Now forget that. What Black American you know that think it's a flex to be called an African or say you look?
I do. I think it's a flex. Like I said, bro, South Sudanese people, they are the most gorgeous people in the entire world. But that's that whitewashing.
That's kind of crazy what this nigga's saying right here, though. Yeah. I mean, bro, like, here are just a few, like, different famous African people. Look at how different they look. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of crazy.
Who this nigga think he look like? You could go for African. All of us could go for fucking African, nigga. What's up with y'all?
Yeah.
What? Y'all could lie to yourself all you want, but them features don't lie. Baby, y'all definitely African.
This is
what I mean, man. A lot of these FBA dudes, they love flexing the 20% of DNA that we have got through slavery. If you didn't know, on average, black Americans probably have 20%. It's probably not even that high. It's probably way lower, but 20% is what it say on Google. Let's say you got a very broad nose. Are you African? Let's say you got darker, real dark skin. They're going to use that as an insult. What is different from that in white supremacists? Are y'all fucking dumb? But this is the talking point that you see so many of these FBA dudes have, and they really are delusional with it. And just even what we seen with Speed going to Africa, majority of Africans show love to us. They love us. And it's really the reciprocated back. What I noticed is that this is pretty much an online thing. Like, you know what I'm saying, bro? I don't know. It's some CIA shit, bro.
I'm going to play a clip from Tucker Carlson's show. He's interviewing James Fishback, who is running for Florida governor as a Republican. If you recall, I posted a video over here where James called Byron Donalds a slave. And so James is defending that using a very interesting talking point that many of you will recognize from the black community. Again, I am not defending Byron at all. Can't stand him.
Yeah, I don't like Byron.
This whole discussion couldn't happen to a better person. I do think this is an interesting progression of events, if you will.
Which is actually quite interesting because I got a call from the Foundational Black American Society here in Florida who reminded me that Byron's mother is Jamaican, he is Panamanian, and they found it quite insulting, in their words, that he would try to claim victimhood of slavery, not a single descendant of American slaves in his family.
I like those foundational guys.
They're so good.
Tariq Nasheed.
When you got white conservatives saying they like you, and if these FBAs really think that they really fuck with them, they crazy.
Oh, for
in my
sure.
opinion, Tucker Carlson and them, they grifting, because I don't know.
Here's the thing, right? So yes, obviously the label of FBA is referring to a person's lineage. However, it is disingenuous to pretend like there isn't an online community that is targeting FBA people, and in these online spaces there are certain ideologies that are normalized and encouraged and amplified, and one of those ideologies is something that lends itself towards xenophobia. There is an a growing anti-immigrant sentiment that can be found in some of these online groups that are targeting FBA people. This is just a reality. That's why Tucker Carlson likes Tariq Nasheed. That's why he likes these online spaces targeting FBA people. Why does Tucker Carlson like it? Because Tucker Carlson, his politics preaches anti-immigration. And that is a sentiment that is being fostered in these online FBA spaces, is this anti-immigrant idea, this anti-immigrant sentiment. That's why the enemy of my enemy is my friend. But you got to understand that Tucker Carlson will never, ever, ever be in support of reparations. So he sees you as a useful tool. So if I could tweak something, instead of saying the FBA to alt-right pipeline, that's not really what's happening, I would say. I would say FBA spaces are turning into tools of white supremacy in that sense, in that way.
They trying to get them on their side, and then if they fall for that, they stupid as hell. But like I said, it's all about the proximity to whiteness. A lot of them gonna be happy that this white man agreeing with them. Yeah, they're gonna be happy.
If your family's been here 400 years, and the descendants of a lot of American slaves, or families have been here 400 years, I don't know. I think that gives. I'll listen to you. Like you got.
And that's true. That's why I'm saying, like, the FBA's, it's a lot of truth to it, but they take it overboard. Yes, like, people that are directly tied to slavery, the ancestors of slavery, should have more of a say so than a black immigrant. That's true.
You know, you've got a point of view that is legitimate, I think.
Yeah. And they're unequivocally heritage Americans.
That's for sure.
100%.
They're definitely heritage Americans, if anyone is. And, you know, someone rolls in from Ghana and, like, you know, gets an MSNBC slot and starts speaking on behalf of black people. It's like, shut up, honey. You've got nothing to do with this.
Right.
That's
Literally.
a fair perspective.
Right. And so it's good to actually see them call them out for that. That's actually cultural appropriation. Appropriating the struggle of slavery.
I totally agree.
And the struggle of slavery was real. I don't think Republicans ever want to really whitewash that. It's real, right? But for
We're
Byron,
against slavery.
We're against it.
Whether it's in the, West Bank or here or anywhere.
Anywhere.
Yeah, against it.
And so for Byron's group, his team, to call me and essentially our entire supporting base racists for saying that you're a slave when quite literally you took $45 million. You won't tell us what you agreed to take that money this early in a primary, which is unprecedented.
Here's the thing. This Fishback guy, though, he doesn't call any of the white people who take money from Israel slaves. And so that's how we know that he is actually being racist. He's being especially racist to Byron. He's only calling him that because he's black. And so all black people should take issue with that and see it for what it is. However, we all know how we feel about Byron Donalds. You know, he's a full-blown raccoon. He's a Uncle Tom lapdog that is so desperate for the approval of white Republicans. And so we don't vote with him at all. He's a clown. But you get what I'm saying? Like, yeah, why is it that you don't see him calling all the other white people that take money from AIPAC slaves? Come on.
And you know this, how unprecedented that kind of money is in an uncontested primary until now. But secondarily, to actually go out and try to gaslight us and think that you're just one of those guys that has been here, since the early 1800s and your family was in the struggle too, you're not. And that's a very interesting term that the foundational Black Americans use. It's called the tether. These tethers, like Byron Donalds, they come here literally one generation in, and they try to just sit around and act so folksy that we're all part of the same struggle. No, you just got here, dude.
That's crazy, man. I don't know what to say about people on the right aligning with FBAs. It's very concerning, and we got to watch out for it.
We need to talk about the rise in Black American nationalism and the Black American nationalist to white supremacist pipeline. Yes, white supremacist. Yeah. So firstly, we've seen the Jay Versace tweet that's been resurfacing, and in response, I've seen quite a few Black Americans make videos about that and say that you can always tell an African apart from an African American. Y'all are not like us, etc., etc. And before I even get too deep into that, I really want to ask you guys, what is the purpose of making that distinction? Don't tell me that is reparations, because that's a really stupid answer. And just to speak to that point, Africans are very diverse looking people.
Literally.
Yes, there are people you can look at them and tell they're African, just like you can look at some people and tell, oh, okay, that's a Black American person. But if you go and get Africans who were born and raised in America or who moved to America at a very young age, you probably would not be able to tell. Most of you cannot, because people can't tell with me. It's literally not until you say something or until somebody sees your last name that they're like, oh. And that honestly kind of brings me to my second point of this whole thing of Africans are cosplaying Black Americans.
This talking point is so stupid, because if let's say you move to an Asian country, you go to China. If you're living in that environment, you're going to adapt to the culture. You're going to live in that culture. You're going to be that culture. You're going to eat the same foods as them. You're going to dress the way they do. You're going to talk their language. That's not cosplaying. That's just assimilating. That's where you're living at. And like I said, bro, it's so ignorant. A lot of these dudes, they don't understand that they're living.
Here's okay, but to give some legitimacy though to what you do here in the FBA spaces in regards to the tethering and in regards to the cosplaying, you have immigrants who come to America and they look the part, they walk, they talk, they dress like Black Americans, but in their politics and in their ideologies, they are anti-Black American. They are anti-Black. This is what the whole thrust of the FBA, this is why they feel the need to delineate, because these immigrants, they come here and to the white man, to all other groups, they look the same as Black Americans. And so when they start talking about how Black people don't need reparations or shouldn't get reparations, when they are echoing conservative and Republican talking points, it gives this impression that there are some Black Americans who feel this way, and then there are some Black Americans who are for reparations, and what that does to outsiders, people outside of the Black community, it makes the topic seem more subjective than objective. It kind of robs legitimacy from these various movements, like the movement to try and secure reparations for FBAs. Because just imagine from the perspective of the white man, if the white man is looking and he's saying, well, shit, even amongst yourselves, y'all don't all seem to agree with this reparations shit. Why should we take it seriously? And so in that way, they are these tethers, these immigrants that come and undermine the black struggle. They are acting like the tethers from that movie that Us, right? The I think that's where the idea came from, the Jordan Peele horror movie Us, where you had people and then you had like your clone version and they wanted to replace you and undermine you. That's the whole idea. These immigrants, they come here and then they undermine the various things that black people are fighting for.
I don't really think you guys understand how silly you sound when you say this at times, but I think it really does speak to sometimes how black Americans, when it comes to this particular subject, some of y'all can be a little bit narrow-minded in your thinking, because what do you mean we're cosplaying? If you're born and raised in a country, you're gonna have the mannerisms of people in that country.
Literally.
Especially if you're raised in a country like America, where things are typically just straight segregated by race. Like, let's be real. So it's like you're gonna have and adopt the mannerisms of the people, you know, in your community, which for a lot of people,
growing up in the hood, but we all got that one white person that's cool as hell. Like, you know what I'm saying? They white, but shit, they damn near black. They talk like us, mannerisms, and that's just because of the environment they grew up in. Like I say, bro, you're just a product of your environment. Like, that shit is so stupid.
Yeah, but here's why I get the cosplaying angle. It's cosplaying because on the thing that matters the most, you are not a black American, right? When it comes to actually advocating for reparations, when it comes to speaking truth to power, when it comes to connecting to the historical black struggle of black Americans, they're disconnected. Most immigrants that move here, they are privileged when compared to a lot of black Americans, especially the poorest black Americans, the poorest FBAs. These are the people who are most still presently impacted by the racism and the white supremacy that oppressed the black Americans of the past, right? Their ancestors, and they're the ones who are simultaneously most damaged by these immigrants that come here and don't want to help to push for any policy changes or any laws or any programs to assist these people. Why? Because they don't identify themselves with them. And so it's in that regard that they are cosplaying as black Americans.
Are African but born in America, that's going to be black American people. Like, hello. And thirdly, which I think is honestly probably the most egregious, is I saw a black American woman on here who was trying to say that what? She said that Africans, Latinos, and immigrants are the new colonizers. That's quite literally the term that she used. She says that black American people and she included white Americans. She said black American people and white American people who've been here for hundreds of years, whose families have been here, who came over from Germany and Ireland, who built this country. They built this country, and now people are trying to come over here and force their customs on them, etc., etc. And I saw her in the comments literally liking comments saying white and black Americans need to stick together.
Proximity to whiteness. Niggas will never defeat those allegations, bro.
Like, do you see where it's not okay? Like, first of all, do you know what a...
Yeah, anybody who thinks that partnering with white people is going to be the way how black people solve their problems, like in this, like as if immigrants are the problem. Immigrants are not the problem. The problem is capitalism. That's the real problem. The reason why there is so much pushback against the concept of reparations is because it is anti-capitalistic in its very nature. Or at least that's how it's perceived by the white supremacist power structure, because it really isn't a handout. It's literally just paying that which is owed. Black Americans are owed compensation for the labor of their ancestors who had to work without compensation. But it gets framed as a handout in modern discourse, and handouts by their very nature are antithetical to capitalism. This is why Republicans are so against all forms of social welfare.
Like, first of all, do you know what a colonizer really is? Like, let's not use that term lightly. Literally. Like, if you are claiming that your family has been here for all these hundreds of years and all this other stuff, girl, you should know the real history of colonization in this country, and you should know the real atrocity that it was, and not try to compare people who are literally coming over here peacefully to try to seek a better life for themselves, the new colonizers. That's very audacious and nasty.
I know this is gonna be interesting in the comment section, bro. This video has been long overdue, man. I did something similar to this on my main channel. I was talking about.
Yeah, in all reality, I think reparations, they are the best solution in a broken system. Reality is, if we had a more socialist society, a more socialist, egalitarian, structured economy, black people wouldn't even really... A lot of the things that you want to be fixed, that you think will be fixed with reparations, would be automatically fixed with socialism. But the beautiful thing about socialism, and why it is more of a realistic solution, is that because it benefits everybody, more people are on board with it. The reality is, as long as we live in a capitalistic structure, things will always become unbalanced eventually. Sure, reparations might help to fix the wealth inequality between blacks and whites, and let's say enough reparations were given so that is achieved. Give it another 100, 200 years, we would just find ourselves in the same place all over again, except maybe now the line that divides the haves from the have-nots is no longer based on race, but based on some other feature or characteristic. Maybe now you get a system where it's all the people who are the descendants of immigrants, for instance. There is a huge wealth gap between them and black Americans and white Americans, because the white Americans, well, of course, they still have the wealth that they've been riding on that momentum for a while. And then let's say the reparations were able to even the playing fields for those black Americans with the white Americans, and then the black immigrants get left behind. And because of capitalism, what will the future black Americans say? Oh shit, well, tough shit, right? Tough shit is what it is. The same shit that white Americans are saying to you right now as you're asking for reparations. You see how capitalism always turns you into a fucking evil person. That's the point. That's what I'm saying. Because it's fueled off of selfishness and materialism and stockpiling. The idea of just, for me to have, you can't have. This is what capitalism is based on. But if we're not going to get socialism, reparations is the next best thing for black Americans, at least. You know what I'm saying? But y'all let me know what you think in the comment section down below, man. Thank you for watching, and until next time, peace out.